So in this next video, we're just going to be looking at two small things, pattern and shape. Pattern is something that a designer would use to attract the eye. And so patterns can be stripes, plaids, graphics, florals, borders, geometrics, pretty much anything. They can be large, small, even, light, spaced, bold. They really impact a lot of things, mostly size and intensity. So a small pattern decreases size and a large pattern increases size. So picture a polka dotted blazer, for example. Or let's not do a blazer. Let's do a dress shirt. A small tiny polka dots are going to make the body look smaller than it actually is. Whereas if they're large polka dots, like fist-sized polka dots, it's going to make the body seem bigger than it is. So patterns need to be used with thought behind it. Pattern can also be a cultural thing. So for Caravana or Caravibe, people use patterns like florals on their costumes. There's also patterns like this, which were one large pattern. So it's not like the pattern is repeated like A, B, A, B, A, B. The pattern is the entire garment. So the designer needs to decide whether they want to use patterns, and if so, what is that going to do to the models that are wearing them? The other thing that I want you to understand is space. So the area inside a shape is called space. So if I'm looking here, all this inside this kimono shape is the space. And so a designer needs to determine how the space is going to be used. So like this designer decided that the bottom of the kimono was going to be used for this design, whereas the top was going to be pretty much basic with the exception of this sleeve here. This obi is extra, it's a belt. So the designer of the kimono wasn't necessarily taking the obi into account. And space exists in several directions, forwards, backwards, up, down. And seams can produce inner shapes. So you can see here that this entire thing is a shape, but then this obi rectangle is a shape. It's a rectangle. And these sleeves are a shape. They're like long rectangles. So stitching can divide the space and help or hinder the designer. Also, space can change the shape of the body. So, for example, if I was wearing that polka dotted dress shirt that I was talking about, the polka dots would change the shape of my perceived body, but not change the shape of my actual body. So we've talked about elements of design in activity 1, 2, and 3, and they're really important when you're shopping to consider to communicate your own personal style and mood. And how the elements are applied is determined by you. So you can use clothing items to create illusions or to drive the eye to a particular area or away from a particular area. And so this is something to consider when you are buying clothing and dressing yourself, if it's something that you want to apply into your everyday life.